Welcome everyone to part 4 of my How to Play Hearthstone 4 tutorial series. We're going to be playing as the Soviet Union once more, and we're going to quickly dive into production. So to access your production tab, we go to the fist holding the wrench here, we click that. So it's a lot of information on screen right now. When I was a beginner, I was very confused, but I'm going to explain it bit by bit. So taking it apart, we're going to go for the first part up here. This is how many resources we have. Yes, you can view this in your trade tab, but it has it here just as a little pointer so you know how many you have available for production. So right below that, these are all the modifiers that affect our factories in some way. Below that are the buttons that allow us to create new lines. So let's say we researched a new heavy tank, we'd click this button and start producing it. And then you'll notice that these numbers are yellow and it says 18 and 36, 5 6. That means we still have some factories that we need to assign to a production line. Now, what is a production line? Well, a production line is essentially this rectangle here. It's an item that you're producing, so in this case, an SVT 3840 rifle, and then it shows a bar of how many we're creating a day, 36.12. Above that is how efficiently the line is producing, and then to the right of that is how many factories we have assigned. Now, we have 36 military factories. Military factories and civilian factories are different in that civilian ones build buildings and can be traded for resources, while military are used in your production lines. So we have 18 more, and we can add them here. As you can see my mouse cursor, I could add some into this box here. But this is how many factories we have going, and then to the right of that is how many resources it is taking to build that line. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that if you are low on a resource and that line requires it, it will produce slower than it can. So make sure you have green positive incomes on all these resources. And then there's these buttons here. These marginalize your factories so you can more efficiently, instead of having to create like 3 lines of infantry equipment just to get more than 15 factories on it, you could click like the ×10 button, and there you go. All of our 8 factories here have been shrunk into smaller blocks, so you could put like 100. So that's a production line, and you can see we got a few going. We got some artillery, some tanks, motorized trucks, some planes, and I still got 18 to assign, so I'm going to go in and assign them. So all you do is you click to add them, and then you can click to remove them. So if I just want 1, I click 1. If I want 9, I click 9. So I like to do a general, like a default layout of my factories. I like to do that many for infantry, some there, some artillery, a few tanks. You just got to get the hang of the game to understand how many you need. And as you can see, when I click beyond the amount I have, because I don't have 37 military factories, what this means is whenever you click past they'll be grayed out. What this means is as you create new military factories, they will automatically fill into these spots. So that's cool if you don't want to have to keep coming back to this page if you have a plan set out. So I'm going to make a little plan. Okay, we'll focus on planes so we can get more. So then right under that you see here is our Navy production line. Now you can always drag your Navy up, but I like to keep them low because the higher something is, the more prioritized it is. Meaning resources trickle into the top ones first, and as you can see we're down on rubber for our trucks. But if we were to drag it up and we had enough rubber, we could give it its rubber, but we have -11, so that's not going to work. But basically your resources flow into the top first and trickle down the lines. So we got a few boats here, and we still have one more dockyard. Now I could add it to this destroyer or whatever, but I think I want to build a battleship. So I'll go ahead and click build ships to create a new line. We'll make the Borodino class. That one looks good. You can click this button to make your own variant with upgraded weapons and engines and abilities, but we are not going to cover that yet. And you see there's its stats. I usually don't look at the stats, I just build stuff blind. And then this number here, well, it's going to take 8 years to make it. It's going to take a while with one naval dockyard, but I think I can wait. I don't know where it's going though. All of these are on auto. To set the location of a ship, so let's say I want to send my battleship here in the Crimea. You click the location marker, and we select where we want it to go. Or we could select a fleet or a location from the list. Now, these are fleets that exist in the game that we have in our naval bases. So if I wanted to go to this fleet right here, we could click that and it would automatically put it in the fleet after it's finished. And then this number allows you to adjust how many you create. I'll just build one. I can add more, but if I go below 0, I go to infinity. So I'll just make one, and then I want to do less subs, a few less destroyers, and whenever we finish these 2, 4, 5, 6, we'll add all 6 here, so we can super prioritize our battleship. Alright, so that should actually be it for production. It's how you manage lines and how you assign new factories. If you have any questions on any questions at all on production or factories in general, leave them in the comments, because I was confused after some tutorials I saw and I couldn't get any help. I just had to learn by playing it. But if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to them and I'll help you understand this game more. So thanks for watching and look out for part 5.